Hello. Island fall. Get this. We're on the 5th day of fall. And the objective today is to make money. But really, it's not even to make money, it's to upgrade my tools. Found a way to do it. Going against everything I said that I would do, but I'm gonna do it because I need the money to upgrade my tool. I'm gonna do the pickaxe first, then the scythe. And then with the money I make, I also need to upgrade my fishing rod and bug catcher because, especially that bug catcher, I feel like there's no reason for me to not be able to catch these bugs. And yeah, I have forever and a day to finish catching all the bugs, but you know. It's taking a while to load. Basically, I'm gonna sell my osmium ore. And then with my upgraded scythe, or not scythe, pickaxe, then I'll be able to get more osmium ore easier. Hopefully that's gonna be a smart move on my end. It might not be, but we'll see. I'm still working with one contact. I don't know why I can only find the box for the one eye. My eyes have different prescriptions. I need to find them by Friday because I have a doctor's appointment. Can't be driving like this. Literally wouldn't be able to. Come on, game. We just need another 25%. Oh yeah, and my house is gonna be upgraded. Maybe that's what. Okay, not yet. But maybe next time we wake up. I see my pockets are full, which means we ran in here the night before. Oh. Oh yeah! Forgot about this part. Favorite Human, finally out you are. Grateful we giants are for freeing us. Now together we are, an ancient gift we bring. Architect desk, this is called. Use it and your farm, we giants shall be summoned into your farm. To any spot, any object you may move, using powers as you wish. Been it has very, very long since last with another Human this we did, so rusty we may be. Work for free though, we do not. Cost you some coins, moving stuff will. Forget that, please do not. Now take this item and upon our power, call whenever you like. Thankful Human we are. I don't think I'm gonna use this for a long time. So this is what I can use to move like the coop in the barn. Ooh. Nothing yet. So I also saw something that I'm wondering about. First of all, I forgot I had all this space. Beautiful. Oh, and you know what? Oh, let me get get some stuff to make some stuff with. Oh, they do give you the architect desk. They made it look like they were just blueprint. I also need to get a pet. Like, need? No. But want? Definitely. Not dehydrate. I didn't think so. We're gonna make celery. Okay, so that is silver already, so I need to make it gold. Have flowers in the pocket? No. I need to get my tools together. Like, what are we doing? Get food that I can eat. Well, really, it would make sense to put it down here. Oh. Yeah. Everything else is up here. Oh, yes. So, I remember last time. Ooh, mastery. Hold on. Foraging. Selling price would be good. Processing time. Oh, yes. Do I want to change it? I don't think that really matters. Killer trees drop hardwood. Now, how important is that going to be for me? I don't even know how to get hardwood. And what all we need hardwood for. I'm going to say no. I don't need sprinting. Like, this is going to matter only for a certain amount of time, right? And then this. 10% though, if it takes 2 days. So 48 hours. So it'll take 44 hours. Like, we're gonna do a selling price. But we will make one of those. Okay, so they did give us. So tell me why it's more to make this rope than the architect desk. That's wild to me. Okay, so we need to make some of these. Oh, we don't need to, but this is what I'm looking at. I need glass. Yeah, and these create batteries. We're gonna need those. So I need 3 gold bars and as much glass as I can get. Ocean just move up to C? Or did I just move up to D? Might have just moved up to D, right? Do is read the mail. Harvest Festival is coming up on fall 15 at 7 p.m. Legendary farmer Jeff Smith will be the judge of the harvest display contest. To enter, bring your best products. Okay. I can bring a good artisan and coop and barn. Flowers, fruits, and vegetables. Oh, that. Hold on. Hmm. I'll keep that. Other than that, I don't. If it's not silver, at least, then I don't care. Bring the best flowers. I don't have good flowers. I think I've used them. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll bring the violet. Oh, I don't want to get rid of those though. Bring that. No. I should be doing. Let me go ahead and make. From what I heard, and I could be wrong. Okay. What I heard, these have more space inside. Out here. Time. Yeah, we're gonna use scrap chests. Put these here. I don't know where I want to put them. I'm not gonna be able to move them later. Probably won't want to. That's the thing. Let me get all the silver. First, I need to. More. Two more. Yes. Let me go ahead and put the in there too. Oh, but actually I need that. My bad. Okay, it's working. Let me get these animals out of here. Come on out. Bring that wool. Not that that's the, you know, bronze quality is better than regular. All of them are big. I have enough time. I have money though. Quality product. Okay. Yeah, because if it's bronze, I'm not gonna bring it to them. To me, it just makes sense. Does These have two. Okay, so double the size. Yeah. We're gonna junk those. Not sure what I'm gonna do with that yet. What I do need to get is my osmium ore. I'm out here playing games. Oh my goodness. Hold on, I need to. Because it's like 200. I think it's 75. I'm gonna have over $10,000. Right? Or am I wrong? Maybe I can't count. I'm selling all of that. Yes, and so then tomorrow we will be make sure I have enough gold bars. That's the last thing I need. Not have bars. What kind of establishment am I running? And tomorrow's Saturday, so we can do that. How are we gonna make our money today? Why don't we go to the mine and get more? Yeah, huh? We should. Enough food. And then tomorrow when I can't mine, then I'll just be in the ocean. Oh, hi, Scott. A nice spot for a lunch break. I might cool my feet in the creek afterwards. You know this song? For some reason, it's been stuck in my head. It goes singing, oh, do 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 do. Did you catch the melody? I forget what it's called. I sure did not. Give him. Well, this is so nice of you. I hope you really liked that because I could have used that for energy, sir. The goal is osmium. Let's go to 30 and we'll, because I'm not trying to be down here all day, you know? Well, maybe we are. I don't know. Now that I say that. I'm literally just here for the ore. I have to... Oh, and I have to make glass. Because I do want to get the batteries. Why is there no ore? What kind of roll of the dice? Really? The disrespect. You know what? Let me go ahead and use this. I have 20. You know, why not? Okay, we got a fossil. I was hoping that this would blast me down to the next level, but you didn't, so okay. Alright. I see what is. I'll do it one more time, right here. If we don't go downstairs, then we're just done. It's not meant to be on this level. It goes to a different level. Oh, never mind. Yes, it is. One contact and we'll do to you. You can't see. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. 10, that's a good number. I think that's almost 1,000. I'm correct. And coins. We got lots of rocks. Oh, and gold ore. What? I'm willing to use 2 on each level. Yeah, no, okay. Let's just go to 5. Ooh, this is perfect. What about my no weapons? Which is fine because I barely have. Oh! Yeah, I barely have any energy anyway. Or any space, not energy. I know what I'm trying to say, I just can't say it. Ooh, that made me dizzy. No opening. All the rocks though. Let me check the other side. I don't think there's ore, but we will see. That's not a smart place to put it. Alright, we'll go back up. And I have to remember this is 11, so we're gonna go to 15. Ow. This is what I'm been expecting. I find it satisfying when they all break back to back. I think that's it. Okay, that's it. There's some good spots to drop this dynamite off, though. Oop, oop, oop. How do we get to downstairs? A good level. I'm not. Okay, there is one. I wish there was somewhere to sell this. I don't have to wait till night, you know? Okay. Is there no ore? No ore. Alright, we're gonna go up and come back on the 20th. I see some there, but let me check over here. Nope. Let me also check down here. Nope. No. Okay. Get another big space. I mean, there's a lot right here. Oh no. Or wait, maybe I'm not seeing. Yeah, that's just a rock. Okay. Okay, that is just a rock. Man, my eyes. Thought I was leaving a fossil, but there's still space. Okay, I said 2 each, so we gotta go to 30. Wait, we've already been to 30, so we're done for the day. Yeah, we're done for the day. Unless, does 40 let you go down? I think it might let you go down. If it does not, then we're done. I know that it has this, so that's a no. Alright, we'll go back up and that's it. 25, that's a good amount. I'll take... Oh, we can hang out. Yeah, Scott, let's hang out. Why not? Trying to make money. Volleyball. Hanging out sounds great. Count me in. What are we doing? I like that they were actually playing. Today was super fun. Thanks for the great time. When are we going out? When are we going? Excuse me. When are we going out next? You're getting to know Scott better. Nice. Oh. Okay. Probably go home first and then come back. Okay. Yeah, but let me at least get this away. To her. I don't like wearing my hair down. It always seems to get in the way. Personally, I don't care about the competition between Starlet and Beluga at the Harvest Festival. Personally, I don't either. But my audience eats it right up. Your audience is, but happy for you. Come back to get that. You know the Hillside Observatory? I live out there. Kind of a hike to get to the beach, but I like that. Keeps me in shape, you know? My job's not just a day at the beach. I have to be on the lookout all the time. It only takes a split second for someone to get in trouble in the water. And those riptides are no joke. People think they're good swimmers, but the waves will pull you under in a split second. That's true. Didn't mean to freak you out. It's calm most of the time, but when a lifeguard tells you to stay close to shore, pay attention. We're just looking out for you. Oh. This is the janitor guy. No, so there's just one shell. If all of this is for one shell. Oh, and a bug. Yeah, no, we're coming back. Oh, let me pull those back. I don't have that many silver, but at least I have enough for one. We got some bronze. I didn't see that. I don't remember. Okay, that's enough. I don't remember what makes. Oh, it's still making them. What makes glass? Makes scrap, but this one? No. Is it this one? So that must be what makes. What will make glass? Celery. Did I not let you guys out? I don't know if I let them out. Oh shoot. I gotta give them some food. Oopsies. Oh, I wasn't looking in there. The hay is here. I did not let you guys out. I am so sorry. Oh, I thought they were walking over to eat. Another thing that would help a lot is if I got a silo. But yeah, I was gonna go back to cause I'm sitting here thinking like, what was I gonna do? I'm gonna go back to the beach. Not be stupid. I grabbed... Did I not grab another mayo? Because I want to keep those. Oh, that's the mayo. It looks like honey. Go ahead and put this away. Go collect some shells and bugs. I see the bug in the flower. I'm here for the shell. Let me talk to him. What are you looking at? Never seen an old man on his knees in the dirt before? Sir, just because I'm an old crank doesn't mean I can't enjoy nature. Okay. Alright, Grump. Here, you want some Karacha sauce? It's good, thank you. Yeah, I know it is good because I made it. No reason. That was a surprise. Place for that one other. I'm gonna take this and I'll go back for the other. And the other things that are here. So desperate to make money. The shell and take the long way home. Ooh, tiger barb. Pretty sure I already. Hopefully that's. It moves faster than me. Gotcha. Okay. I'll make sure first. Already donated that. Shell. I just want these things to be next to each other, you know? Ooh, flower. Oh, that is. Shoot. Yes. I'd have already gotten this. But we're gonna. Glad I checked. One more direction to go. I'm gonna put these in here. The flowers, not the. I'm gonna sell that. I think there was this because there's food. That flower is the same. And being here, I can just travel back home. More bugs. More bugs. I really need to organize. No more time. Perfect. Oh, I'm so happy. Earned 50K in coins. So that was, some change. A good $380 for duck mayo. Now that was a lot. Or wait. Oh, it's 172 each. Ooh. That's good money. That was more than I thought. 44,000. I can now afford the stuff that I need. Tiger barb was okay. And the bugs were okay. Oh my gosh. Let me go get my gold pickaxe together. Oh, and I should have been... Okay. I should have been making sure I have kelp extract. When is my house gonna be expanded? I need a lot more than that. Where all the flowers are? See where all the flowers are right now. glass. Did I not put the kelp in here? Did not. Okay, I know I'm not losing my mind. Okay, we're gonna let all of you out because I'll pet you on the way out. I have to shear these sheep. Where's the other one? Didn't I get 3? You guys decided to sit on each other. Here it is. This is where you make glass. Okay. Scrap in the glass. Okay, let me get on my scrap. I don't remember what I need this for. Oh, for the make batteries, right? Where did I put the hay? Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Sell the flyer. You can tell me one isn't enough. What was this? And diving? Rude. Still need these. 1? Mm-mm. No sir, no sir. Gonna take some time. I see. I could use some flowers for there. In the beehive. Oh, meat. And the water can. Double profit. My eyes are really not doing it. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I'm just not gonna eat all of this. It's just, what's the purpose? And if I had double product, where did I knew that I wasn't losing it? Was it just sitting in the grass? Yeah, because before it said double product, right? Turn it. Ooh, big eggs. And read this. Would you be able to provide me with a pumpkin? I have a recipe I'd like to try. Good luck with this busy season. I hope to see you around. So I have pumpkins that are growing, and Bree, when I get a pumpkin, I will find you. How's the farm, sweet? This is tripping me up. How's the farm, sweetheart? We saw some articles about Coral Island's Cherry Blossom Festival. The event looked beautiful. I think I might have spotted you in one of the photos. Yes, Ashley is pregnant. Vitamin drink. I'm gonna assume Ashley's a cat. Is there still more mail? Nothing to be dehydrated. Else we might be able to open at 9. Close today. Oh, there's a lot of people we can hang out with. I keep forgetting. Okay, we need to find her. It's her birthday. The fact that we have 5 hearts with him, we could. Oh, and Jim. Well, we know where Jim is gonna be. I'm assuming she's on the beach, of course. Oh, Jim isn't there? Where are you at? Heard he is in the abyss. Okay. Let's go find her. And I'll give her 2 gifts. I don't think I knew that that was there until this moment. Maybe I did find that out last time. I don't know. You are right where I knew that you would. Aw, this is a nice gift. Thanks for going out of your way. Welcome. And we can hang out. Watch out for jellyfish on the beach. Don't get stung. I can't chit chat all day. Talk to someone else, will you? Oh, rude. Well, let's hang out. Oh, nope, nope, nope. Hang out, girl. Material girl. I mean, I can spend some money. I want to spend some. Go fishing. That'll be fun. Even though she likes the beach. Let's go shell hunt because we're already here. Heck yeah, it's time to take a break and have some fun. And then we'll have a shell in our pocket on the way. In the process, I should say. That was kind of cool, us hanging out. Getting to know. Learn to say her name properly. I think it's like Shyam. We found Junonia shell. I didn't even take my shears out of my pocket. I hate when I do that. Go find Jim. Oh, and perfect. It's time to go to see my favorite brothers. Ooh. The whole beach. And there's a bug. Not that I need the money, you know. Now that I figured it out. I don't think I can give you any more gifts. We could talk. Hey, best friend. The Iron Eye Hammer isn't the only tool you can make with Tavandium, just the most famous. I can't help but let my mind wander. Man, it's obsessed with this. The Great Stone Amulet, the Firestarter's Axe. This could change the entire shop. The entire island. Kinda cool. I'm sure that Explorer will be back with my Tavandium any day now. I think if I do this, I'll see something. I think. I knew it. Hold still, don't move too much, Uncle. Give me a minute, I'm almost done. Okay. Thank you. Ta-da! Come have a look, what do you think? I like her little dress. Hey, my nose looks big. But wow, the painting is great. Let's go and hang it somewhere after we get some food, okay? You need to eat something. Should we go to the beach shack? No, no, Uncle, I don't wanna. I want cake from Frank. Can we please go to the tavern? Mom never let me go there after dark. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why. Come on, Uncle Raphael. Let's go, let's go. Before Mom catches us. Oh, Suki said what? No, no, no. If that's the case, I have to ask Suki first. Ask Suki what? What's going on here? Oh no! Uncle, you're too slow. He's the worst. Slow? Slow what? One of you better start talking soon. Okay, I was gonna take Valentina for some cake at Fish and Sips, only if you're okay with it though. Are you okay with it? If not, we could just go get something at the beach shack. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's alright, just don't stay too late. The place gets too loud at night. Okay, thank you. Yay! Thanks, Mom. See, Uncle, I told you she'd be okay. That's what I heard her say. That's not exactly what you told me earlier. Look at his face. Oh, Uncle Raphael, you silly goose. Tina thinks she's slick. Alright, I wasn't really trying to come in here. I just knew there was something that I kept missing. Okay. To the area to sell the shell. The bug. and find Jim? I forget what his name is. The grumpy guy. And then I gotta go. Oh, I hope they don't close at 12. And upgrade tools. Need 5 bronze kelp essence. But I have enough money. I didn't check what time they close. Oh, till 2. Okay. 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 Did I bring my gold bars? Not enough. No, this is stressing me out. Because I need 3 bars. They might not be done. Shoot, 2 are done. Okay, I got an hour. It'll be okay. Probably. Hi. No? There'd be a bug. At least we have enough kelp essence. Goes next to organic materials. That's crazy. Plus 999. Am I ever gonna need that much? Okay, and it was wood that I need. Let me go get this updated, and then what am I gonna do? Let me do the bug net. No, I got what I need. I was like, I don't even have the bronze, but I do because it's kelp. I feel like the bug net will be the best. Upgrade. Cool, thanks. Ooh. Okay. Come on, it's gotta be done now. Enough time has gone by, right? No. I don't think I'm gonna make it. Let me make sure I don't have gold bar anywhere else. Sometimes I do that. Oh. I'm gonna be so sad. No gold bars. This gnocchi recipe is the bomb. Give it a try and tell me what you think. This pizza recipe is the bomb. Well, thanks for looking out. Make sure I'm not upgraded. Nope, not yet. Well, since we're not gonna make it, let me go ahead and put all this stuff where I want it. And I'm gonna go back down to the mine and get some more osmium. Why not, right? The stuff that I'm not gonna be eating and using. o'clock. Good. Have money for tomorrow. I have my bug net on the way. On Monday, we'll be able to get. Actually, no, let's go underwater. Let me drop the bombs off. And let me bring more food. To be honest, I'm probably not going to use that. Oh. Okay. Yeah, let's go underwater. Because I don't need the money. And I want to see what the next stage is for. Let me actually see. Yes, give Bree a pumpkin. Ugh. Oh yeah, I can also heal the coral tree, but I can also buy these now. I can give him one of my wools because the other one. I can get him a flower. Brown stylish glasses, royal great blazer. Okay. The map. Until 6. I think that's where we'll have to go. Milk wanted in 2 days. I don't have anything new going on. Yes and no. Can't talk right. This is fall and salmon season. I hope Jim makes some more. Ooh. Look sharp, everyone. Customers will start pouring in anytime now. Adventures with Feet, you surprised me. I really didn't hear you come in just now. Congratulations on the store. Thank you. This is not my first store opening, but I'm still feeling the nerves. It's kind of exciting. Back then, I wasn't even sure that people would buy from my store, since the situation was very tough. But after seeing the town steadily getting back on its feet, I really feel this is the right time. So welcome to the real Wabanana. If anything caught your eyes, just let us know. Our shop assistants are always ready to help. Happy shopping. Take your time and don't worry, we have fitting rooms now. Listen, we might need to get some clothes too. For ourselves, you know. Me pin. Oh, it's royal grape. It was an alphabetical. These are saying new, but they're all new to me. And then there's... I didn't want to wear that. Stylish glasses. Of course, they're almost the most expensive. Now let's look at stuff for me. Now I'm excited. Dude, what you got? Yeah, we're not getting any of these outfits. No, no, no. Oh, that's cute. Gotta admit. Oh, that's kind of cute too. I'm not a fan of pink, really. Ooh. Oh. Oh, get out of here. He's gonna have a purse. Or maybe a backpack. Can't figure. Oh, yeah, we're not buying that. Now that is really, really cute. Cute too, in a gross kind of way. It's cute. Better. I know they changed the hair. No, that's straight hair, so we're not gonna wear something on. Even though a good top to go with. And I would wear them in real life. We are not wearing puffer fit. Cute. Cute, and it's getting colder. That is cute. Another duck. Another duck. Like that one the best out of the three. Yeah, I think that's my favorite. I wanted to wear shorts. Sure. Like the rip. Intense rip. I like that. Skinny jeans. A bit. A bubble skirt. Yeah, this is the regular bubble skirt that. Doom, 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 doom. No butt at all. Dark gray. That way it's not matchy matchy. Yeah, that. Color, let me look at. But where? This is where my eyesight is gonna fit. Coral. Tag. Forget it, I'm just gonna get these shoes. Do I want her to have glasses? Because I kind of like the glasses. No, no glasses. Alright, this is my new outfit. Okay, thanks. Fill the market with local joy. I don't know what that means. Oh, actually, I think I do. To give, oh, cod. I don't remember if... Never see Erica. You know, Bree came from the big city just like you. You've told me this before. Oh, you're so sweet, thanks. You have one of those calendars in your house? No. I need to. Oh, that's what we need to go see. Thank you for reminding me. Another cod. Season of the cod. And we've already made them. We are gonna go home, drop the cod off. Now you're done. Don't want the glasses on. Those are literally for him. And 3 wool. Let me get the one. And tomorrow we might have enough for him. Even though I think today was a 2 wool day. Let's go to the gym. Oh, yeah, I was gonna see what else could I give Jim. Oh yeah, I didn't take the coffers there. That's fine. I'll give him some celery. Me like celery? Sure hope so. Oh, I can give him 2 gifts. Let me get him a random flower. Not a lotus. Yeah. Where you at? Where you at? No. EB. Good, we're 4 hearts with her. Near puffer good. Hit you. Go back home. Do have errands to run. I hardly ever baked pumpkin pie until I moved here. I was missing out. You do this. Thank you so much. Harvest Festival here is so cool. It's nothing like the one we had when I was growing up. I never talked to you either. I wish I could spend more time at Socket, but it's harvest season and the vineyard is just taking up all my time. Whoa, this feels special, thanks. We do have a greenhouse where we grow grapes, but the taste never quite matches the grapes we harvest in fall. That's just my personal opinion. Love her little backpack. And I love that it moves to the side when we... I should collect more wood for smoking fish. Thank you for this birthday present. Yes, you do need wood to smoke fish. Nature is very giving. There's plenty of food in the forest and around the lake. Watch out for poisonous plants, though. Plenty of those here, too. That's so true. Thanks for the tips, buddy old pal. Yeah, I honestly don't even care about those. Let's... What's that noise? I think I know what it means. Buddy. Are you stopping by the tavern? Thank you, dear. It's very considerate of you. Noah says I spoil the cat's peanut and butter. I'm starting to think he might have a point. Leah, do you grow trees on your farm? I heard they don't die. Food for thought. But we can hang out. One day I'll go visit the moon. No, I'll get paid to visit the moon. Now that's cool. I used to dream about going to the moon when I was little. Mama told us about the moon goddess and her rabbit. I wanted to go there too. Thought it was the coolest thing. Let's hang out. Now, what would make sense is go to the observatory, but because I'm trying to go underwater... Explore an exhibit. Sure, I'm intrigued. Let's see what this is all about. Ew, all the creepy crawlies. The ones that fly are even worse to me. Pretty though. Looks like this is goodbye for now. Thanks for today. You're getting to know Aaliyah better. Oh, no. Did that so I can do this. Hours. No, we don't got any bites. He always asks that. We still have to heal the coral tree, even though there was that cutscene that made it look like we did. It's music. Oh, it's nothing. It was just so dramatic. The deeper you dive, the grander the prize. Oh. Osmium kelp. Nice. Let's go ahead. Now I have to fit. Anchor near where they moving to. I can't even catch you. You were pretty though. 2 coffers? Nice. I'm just gonna try to find the little thing right now. I know I'm down here late. A coffer? Okay, we're a little far off. Let's go out. Okay, maybe I could in an hour. I don't know. Oh, the one that I found was for the that. the one over here? Is it the one over here? We need to get going anyways. When I come back, there are two. $11:40, I'm pushing it. There will be no dehydrating anything before bed. Ooh, it's 11:50. We made it with our cute backpack and everything. 2 plus 2. Okay, we still made good money. Your house just got bigger. Whoa, it's big. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So excited. Stop it. I'm so excited. I need to get some utensils. Oh my gosh, this is cool. Let me see, because I think there's a shopping channel and it tells you. Nope. But did you know? Oh, jeez. Is this the same one? These reruns. Spoils of the land. Hey, back to nature with me, your host, Jenna. Did you know you can catch salmon in the rivers during fall? Yeah, me neither, but you can. It's literally fall right now. So you should totally go out there and fish if it's your thing. We are gonna get at least one pet. Can we? Morning. Good morning. Yes, that is. I am always, in fact. What? All I said was good morning. I'd love to stay and talk, but I'm kind of in a panic. My dog Taco is missing. Oh no, not Taco! I love Taco. Have you seen him? Not Taco. Okay, would you keep an eye out for him, please? Of course. Taco loves going on adventures, but he usually goes home at the end of the day. He's a mountain dog. Came from up there, actually. Just followed Suki and sort of lives down here now. Hopefully he's on a new adventure. I'll be on the lookout. I'll say, how are you doing? Not good. I'm just worried that he might get lost, or maybe he went home back to the mountain. Oh, that's... yeah. If he did, then I'd be glad as long as he's safe. Anyway, I should probably leave. Take care. You should check on Luke at the vineyard later. If I remember to, we will. My friend, it's out. I've heard making butter croissants can be difficult, but I believe this recipe will make it much easier for you. Mother has used this recipe many times, and I can vouch for it. Mmm, yum. Heart urchin? And we're gonna go ahead and make dragon fruit jam. Because, you know, let them out one group at a time. I large wool. Oh, well, you can't have my large wool. I think I have to go, donate that. Or go to the offering. Me too. Oh. Oh. How do we expand these? I need to go look at that too. One day. Hmm. Oh, I got rid of all the trash. fruit of any wool. And what does it say it's gonna give me? Cave of Memory. Warp Season. Dig Site. Greenhouse. I need sunflower and blueberry. Oh, but too late. I haven't given any of these. Oh. Okay, I have a fig and I need to find more black trumpets. Okay. That's my mission. Need to find if I can find more figs and black trumpets out of. Yeah, look at this. I might be able to buy something from you in person because I've been wanting that. Oh, stop it! I want that so. Okay, we're gonna get that because I've been wanting that. I'm eventually gonna have to get a chieftain scarecrow. That's so cute. Okay, and you know what? That makes sense. So they give me one, and I can make more because if I want my whole, yes, if I want my whole field to be alien scarecrows, that makes sense. Confused. Black truffles, where are you? Ooh, when I get in there, yep. Let's. Did I ever go? The wind has been very strong lately. I think summer's over. Yeah, it's fall, so yeah, that means summer's over. Can't believe I really those things and didn't give them to so many truffles. Hmm. Perfect. I do need to talk to them. Oh. Taco, Taco, come here, boy. No luck so far. It's the longest time he's left the house. I think he really did go home. I would give it a week before getting all sappy. Don't give up yet. I'm sure Taco lost track of time, playing too much. Maybe you found a new friend. Be home soon. Yes, I think that makes sense. I shall not give up. Thank you. Checking the beach might be a good idea. Ooh, hint, hint. Find Taco. But digging the garbage. Uh-oh. Just tinker with it a little bit. Which part? The back part of it. You're a scientist, you'll figure it out. Thanks, Saria. If you need me, I'll be at the garden outside. I don't think my education prepared me for this. Oh, hey, you surprised me. What's up? Sorry, I probably should start knocking. Didn't mean to eavesdrop. Is everything okay? But enjoying your weekend so far? Let's pretend like we didn't hear anything. Yeah, well, kind of. Don't just stand there. Can I get you something to drink? But first, I gotta fix something real quick. Come with me. Okay. I'll come with you. Oh, the TV. Old school TV. Whoa, this is worse than I thought. This is a health hazard, don't you think? It's a fire hazard, definitely. Hang on, what are you doing? Oops, sorry about that. Are you okay? Aunt Dinda asked me to fix the TV. Oh, that's your aunt. She said there was something to tinker at the back, or something like that. You need an electrician. Maybe not an electrician. Apparently it's supposed to be easy. Yeah, give it a go. Oh, look at us. Whoa, you fixed it. Thank you. Well, now that it's fixed, let's chill. What did you say you wanted to drink earlier? Sit down and I'll grab some snacks. Okay. Oh, there's another house upgrade. Yeah, edit farm buildings. Oh. No, we're gonna keep this design. What is upgrading though? I don't have hardwood. Okay. Oh yeah, you have the calendar. We're gonna get one. Especially now that we have a house. Well, we had a house, but now that there's space. Carpenter. I need to get resin. This is what we... Yeah, I could get that. The fish pond. Now that I know how to make money. Gotta get more seaweed, I think. Oh, we could do a shed too. I don't think we need a shed, but we could do it. 5 gold bar. Let's upgrade our tools first. Well, I'm about to get the gold pickaxe. I need gold, kelp, essence, and seaweed. If I have 20 seaweed, then we're good. And just like that, I've abandoned my mission for other stuff. Let me go the long way home though. Snatch that up from you. Some people fish. I slay monsters. We all have our vices. True. Want this flower? Oh, pretty on the outside and the inside. Thank you, neighbor. Not vices, I guess. Things. We all have our things, hobbies, whatever. Which monsters you encounter depends on how deep in the cavern you go. The season has nothing to do with where the monsters are. They're all there, just on different levels. Why are you asking me so many questions? You should just go and get hunting already. Oh, truffles. Last a year. Memory. Now I need gold kelp essence, but let me just start making it. Oh, and I need to make sure it's no thing. Ooh, spooky festival. And I need to get to Sam. Because we're buying more space in our backpack, okay? I handle this. Ooh. Sam. Carry my bag. We don't have any bigger bag than mine. Okay, no problem. He has anything that goes into the winter. Days. No way I can. It's lab. Okay, so kelp essence. Okay, so 8. Ooh, mammoth skull. Sure. $100 scrap. Okay. Because now that I know how to get the money, that's not a problem. All of these need 100 scrap. No feeder though. Yeah, because I need a silo. It would be the petter, really. I have large wool. Oh, I just need to keep making scrap. That's what I'm seeing I need. Of course. But what is... Oh yeah, no. So... Brothers are closed, but let me see if there's anything... Nothing to collect? Oh, Archie. I've never given him a rock. Whoa, I love rock. I know you do. Taco's a smart dog. I want a dog that's smart like that, and we can both go on adventures in the forest. My binoculars are no use around here. There isn't anything mysterious to look at. Everything is easy to see. The forest, though. Now that place has a lot of fun things to see. Want to go down? Not there. Not really. Betty, are you eating enough, dear? My only advice is to keep experimenting with your cooking. Frank always had an eye for new recipes to try. You might consider storing a part of your harvest for later. Oh, why, you ask? Well, perhaps for a nice meal in the future, you never know. Good idea, Betty. The reward. Gold kelp, thank you. Big. Home. Pretty sure I have a regular. May as well plant it. Why not? Oops. Wait, and what flower? Orchid? I don't think I've come across an orchid. I prefer to spend my time in nature. Here in the forest are my two favorite places. How did you know I like this? Thanks. Kenny appears to be sleeping. Let's hang out. That's a fine idea. Let's go. Especially now that I can cook. Hi, Maricode. That was awesome. Getting to know Kenny better. Didn't I? It's nice to come here for a break after work once in a while. Plenty of wild vegetables today. Really? Wait. These can last us the whole week. Find some of Was this what I need? Alright, let's go. The crunchy leaves outside are so much fun to jump in. Me and Archie and Taco take turns making piles and jumping in them. Oh yeah, I have to go to the beach. Taco. I think I got their garbage. If I didn't, oh well. Beach. Find Taco. There he is. Mhm. There you are, boy. Luke's been worried sick about you. Taco, there you are, my boy. Taco, where have you been? I thought you went back to the mountain. Thank you for your help. I think I know why he came here to play. He lived over at the inn for a while. Maybe he just missed his ocean friends. All good now. I should take him back and give him a proper bath. Come over to the vineyard sometimes, will you? Let's hang out. Let's go home, boy. That's really all I wanted to come here. But since I have so much open space in my pocket, you know my son Waku? He comes out here on weekends. Sometimes he's the only living soul I see all week. Fine with me, not complaining. Give you a lotus. I'll give you a chestnut. It's good, thank you. Welcome. Give him this too. You sure? Thanks. Black trumpet mushrooms are sprouting on the island, music to my ears. I found a few chestnuts the other day, but I haven't made anything with them. I suppose I could just roast them and call it a day. Oh, I didn't even go buy anything to cook. But that's all. Yeah. Um, I'll take the long way. I still have some more spaces. And then I think I can pick up my catcher tomorrow. Nice. Nothing. I don't know if I got the crab before. Fish. Nope. On the other. Museum. One's new. Everything else, I think, is that one too. No artifact. Oh, what I'm gonna do with all this stuff? I really don't know where I put the hay. This is not good. I don't even have these things. I did, honestly, I don't care enough. Pellets. Working. It makes sense to put the food here that I can use back there. Do 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 do. Gold? Gold. Mm. Okay, so in the morning I'm gonna need this. Need this and this. And I'm gonna need this and this and this and this. I need to put the garbage away. Oh, and the hay. The hay over here? If not, I wonder if I sold it. Be very slow with what I'm looking at. No hay. Please don't tell me I sold my hay. I can get more, but so much. Supposed to be here. Right. Must have sold it. Time to go find some more. Probably need more silver kelp essence. Yes, I do. I don't remember how much I need, but I know more than that. Oops. And oh, I had it up there. Oh well, now I'm good. And I didn't put the fiber away. Taru and Sunny. Two people I barely ever talked to. I might go get some osmium ore today. Make some more money. Bronze Bugnet is ready. Oh, let me get some fish. Oh, yay. Fresh. Gotta love it. crayfish. Right, so let's see if we can make something. Ooh. Osmium? Oh, I need chef knife? Yeah, okay. We have a couple places we need to go today. Let me get these animals out of here. Nice, we like the large eggs. Thank you, thank you. You're selling that. I might give this to them because that's the last thing that tomorrow. Okay. Diving. Is it 5? Okay. I can find bugs now that I don't have my net. Hmm. I don't think I've gotten that mushroom before. Now I got 2 of them. More chestnuts. I saw the fig. Right. Okay, I think they're. Oh, and a bug. Oh boy. And now that they're open, I gotta go home and drop all this stuff. Really good for the winter. Got more than enough seeds donated. And I gotta go down there anyways. Let me go down there first. Get my bug nets. I think they're open at 10. Guess what? The Coral Reefs are in the playoffs, baby. God, feels so good. Coral Reefs, I like that name for the team. You're dancing. The volleyball playoffs. Maybe I didn't tell you. We have a chance to qualify for the tournament in Pokyo. Playing in the Pokyo volleyball tournament has been my dream ever since I was a kid, and now I'm just one game away. The Coral Reefs have never qualified before, but they've never had me on their team before either. Okay, I'll admit it, I'm a little nervous, but I know we have a good shot. After all, I'm the best volleyball player you know, right? I'm not gonna tell her she's the only volleyball player I know. I'm sure you'll make it. You're their good luck charm. Oh, thanks. Winning takes practice, practice, practice. Speaking of which, I'm going to hit the ball around now. You want to help me out until the team gets here? Great, let's do this. I hope none of them saw me take a spill. I have a reputation to protect. Uh-oh. Anyway, I better get back out there. You can hang out and watch us if you want. Okay, Coral Reefs, let's show them what we can do. Let me get my bug nets. I don't think I have 2 bronze kelp essence on me. What was I thinking? Oh, because I have silver kelp essence on me. Ooh. Okay. So if I can't upgrade at the lab, I'll come back and I'll make this Silver. Oh, truffles. Trumpet, I mean. Truffle. Truffle is when I get the pigs. Uh oh. We're just friends with everybody, huh? Yuri, wait up. You forgot your reports. That sounds important. Oh, right. Thanks. This job involves so many documents. It's one report after another. I don't think I'm ever gonna get used to this. It's part of the job, I guess. Can't complain. Yeah. Oh, come by the library later. We've received some new medical journals yesterday. Dang, I can't. I need to pick up some groceries on my lunch break. We ran out of food, by the way. Want anything from Sam's? No thanks. Alright then, I'll just bring the new journals home for you. See you tonight. Ooh. Where was the bug? Get it. Lady Beetle. Eleanor, I feel bad for flies. Everybody seems to hate them, but they're just trying to do their part in the world. Here, I'll give you a lady beetle. I can't believe it's already fall. Where did summer go? I'm surprised a lot, aren't I? Well, what can I say? The change of seasons always takes me by surprise. A good kind of surprise. Are you heading to the beach? I'm just here to refill the bird feeder. This one still seems to have plenty. Maybe Suki just refilled them. Maybe. We talk to Raj. I'll give him a flower. Oh, would you look at that? Thanks. Uh-oh, did I give him? Okay. Much. My hair gets sticky fast lately. Kinda hate it. Is yours that way too? I know he's gonna talk about coffee. He tastes his favorite combos of the year before putting them on the menu. And he's done talking. Macy, we don't ever. Are you okay? You seem distraught. Is there something on your mind? Just let it out. Stefan's doing well today. Thanks for asking. How about you? We need to get a pet. Thank you for reminding me. Is this Eleanor? It sure is. Can't keep up with these people. No, I want a cat. But I also want a dog. A fox. Just get all of them. Time to see the brothers. Tiger barb. We'll be able to cook with that. Brand. Hi there, Adventures with V. It's a little quiet today. Hey, I've been doing some thinking. I'll level with you. An explorer came into my shop the other day and told me he knew where to find Tavandium. Yeah, you told me that he was gonna bring you some. Tavandium. You've never heard of it? No. Tavandium can be used to make magic items, one very specific magic item in particular. The Iron Eye Hammer. I know, it sounds far-fetched. Honestly, I find it hard to believe too. But if the ore is real, the hammer may be real too. And this explorer actually said he could get me some. I'll say that sounds incredible. I thought so too. That's why I hired him to help me. He said he saw Tavandium in an underwater cave not far from here. He'll bring me some for more than I care to spend. I think we already saw this. But hey, if it works, anyway, I've chewed your ear off plenty, more than I've talked to most people in this town, so I thought you deserved to know. Wish me luck. I wonder if I leave and come back. Is he... I have a lot to do. Maybe not a lot to do to remember. Okay. Oh shoot, I need hardwood. Five hardwood. Now, who has hardwood? I wonder. Maybe this. Did you know Frank hates yogurt? A weird thing to hate, isn't it? He also hates durian, but that I get. I wouldn't touch durian with a 10-meter pole. Let's see if we can get some hardwood. Enough with the... Monarch Caterpillar. Did also want to see... I did want to go to the lab. Where I was. Oh, actually, what can I sell? Not wondering. 8. Okay, I need 3 more silver kelp. I think I might be working on that. Or not, we need to be. Did I bring bronze kelp with me? No. More silver kelp. Let's go this way. Get to the carpenter. Oh, there's Taco. You sell hardwood? No. On it. What was it that I was gonna get from you? I need resin for that. I was gonna check my seaweed. Do I have 20? Hmm. Yeah, because we can have 8, so I can get a cow. Do a cow. These are all level 2. Get a duck too. Money. Oh, it's time to go home, but I need to make sure I was out. Essence. Well, four. Gotta ring the bell to get you to come out because you haven't eaten. Oh, there she goes. Oh, I didn't stop at the. Back to the museum. Need one more essence. Silver kelp essence. I don't know if it's gonna be done today. Oh, it might be. Time they close. 5, cool. Bucket and pan. Oh, closed today. All right. They're open till 5. Beds in my house. Oh, it was hardwood. I was gonna get some silver. What am I going? I didn't even put them up. I also need to get a pet. Or it's too late because I don't know what time shelter closed. Perfect. And we still 5,000. Ugh, that osmium ore situation was perfect. Oh, a pet. Myself, what do I need to do? And adopt more than one at one time. I don't think we can though. No, I'll just get a cat. It's fine. Adopt a pet. Zuri. Zuri will arrive at your farm tomorrow. Adopt another one? I think I want. We're gonna get a dog too. Letting me do it all. I wonder, do they replace the animals? Like, are there gonna be other big dogs? I really like black dogs, but I like them big. sized dog. Oh. Is it too hot out there? Oh, he's sleeping. I love that they give him. Kit Kat is a cat. What? We could have 3 pets. Oh no, I don't know if I like this because I got 3 beds. I get. Make sure to let your animals out of the barn once in a while, okay? Big jam. Great, thanks. Especially in weather as beautiful as this. Inhale the future. Library and read a book. We can give Millie some. Mark mentioned that you adopted a pet. Congratulations on the new addition to your family. Don't you just love the smell of old books? Once you donate a certain amount of items, you're welcome to collect your reward. Okay, the creation of Coral Island. I'm gonna read the one. Long ago, in the early days of a world full of promise, the goddess set out to create Coral Island. She lifted the ocean floor, crafting land rich and fertile, where anything could grow. The first bloom was the white goddess flower, a mirror of her own grace. She then brought forth a variety of plants to nourish the future inhabitants of this enchanting island, filling it with creatures from land, sky, and sea. To safeguard the land and its beings, she created the giants, gentle guardians of nature. For the ocean's care, she brought the merfolk into existence, protectors of the sea creatures and the stunning coral reefs. Together, these beings have maintained a harmonious balance for ages, each playing their part in the circle of life. Speaking of merfolk, I need to go down there. Who is this? Thought that was somebody. Leo. What kind of pet did you adopt? Tell me about them. You're welcome to join the meeting here. No pressure. Give you pickled watercress. This is alright, thanks. He seems to be concentrating. Oh. Okay. Go down and give the merfolk gifts. That's what we're doing. I don't have my harvest anything. Ooh, no, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to actually go to the Merfolk Kingdom. But I need to start befriending them for real. I'm completely neglecting them. That looks like a person I can talk to. We are not gifting you. Okay. If I were in your shoes, I'd stop wasting time and start doing something useful instead of wandering around aimlessly, chattering away like a fool. So rude. You're blocking my path. Excuse me. I was gonna try to give you something. You don't want it? That's fine. Ooh. Lau, you're blocking my path. Excuse me. Okay. Ugh. You're blocking my path. Excuse me. Okay. Go to the Nolly family house. My hand is tired. Sculpting isn't kind to the hands. I dream of crafting a sculpture so vast it spans the breadth of the mermaid's trench. Imagine a piece that can be seen like a beacon from any corner of the ocean. A lot. Who's this other person? Okay. Not allowed to enter. So go to the palace. I only want to speak to the princess. I don't really care about the king and queen, to be honest. I want to give her my gift. So you don't want to show me how all is here? Or I should say where she is. Is this her? I can't give gifts. Well, hello there, land dweller. I keep seeing you around, don't I? Having a good swim so far? Let's resume our delightful conversations another time. My fins need some rest. Alright, well. Couldn't do what I came here to do. Thought I was gonna be giving you guys gifts. A lot. Let me see if my mushroom log done anything. Squirrel. She has energy. Where is... There it is. Even though I think with the giants thing that they gave me, I think I can move the trees. But drop them down. That's regular wood. I was hoping it was hardwood. Oh shoot, that's a lot. Sure, I can't do this either. Oh. I did get hardwood. I'm so happy. Actually, oh, the path came up. More hardwood. Let me try to find some more. Here's some. More hardwood. That means I can get my silo. Get everything that I want. Well, depending on the money. Right. Oh, Macy and Raj. I think that's gonna be it. Oh, and tomorrow I'll have some milk too, I think, hopefully. Knock, knock. Good morning. Shelter was swamped this morning, so we're pitching in by bringing this little one over to you. Look who's here to join your family. The little one has been eager to explore its new home. Building trust and love with your pet is a beautiful journey. Treasure it. They're now part of your family. Take good care. Amari is now part of your family. But we have two, right? Because didn't the cat come with them? Yeah. Amari looks happy today. The noise. Suri looks happy today. That's good. Nobody's birthday, but Theo's is coming up. Yeah, I need to put food in here. Put the fish in there. Well, you know what? I actually don't think I'm gonna play today, so putting the fish in there doesn't matter. I really just want to see if we get milk today. Yeah, we do. Oh, silver already? Are you gonna give silver? No. That's weird. I mean, I'm not complaining. And then that would make silver cheese. I think I have the cheese maker. Whatever it's called. And then we have two large eggs. Perfect. All right. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a day there. I think when I come back, I'll have the disguise done because I have two wolves. And then I have the one right here that's regular. Perfect. And then we have those two, and I have any flower. We'll do that, and I think I'll have my oops. I think I'll have my silver hay by then. Maybe not. It'll be Wednesday. But Wednesday I'll get silver hay. And my gold? No, silver scythe. But I can now get the gold pickaxe because of the hardwood. Oh, I'm excited. Alright, so I'll be back Wednesday to do all of this. And so thanks for hanging out and hope you have a good rest of your night.